We built a dead hedge. Look at that. What is a dead hedge? I'm sure most of you know what a hedge is. It's made out of living plants, usually is a border for something. It's also usually a nice area for wildlife to hang out. A dead hedge is made out of non-living plants, and we learned about that from We Are the Ark, a book I will put a link to in the description. We had an area of staghorn sumac that needed thinned around the power lines, so we decided to use sumac. It has so many great uses, and this provided a really quick, easy way to get an area built that could protect our chards and beet greens that we're going to grow. We don't grow a lot of food anymore, but we do grow certain ones that we use a lot, like greens and potatoes. How do we do it? Well, we trimmed the plant material and we built these support structures, which is just really the containment structures. It's so simple. We used wire at the top. It goes around the foundation, which I'll show you here in a moment. And then we stuffed it full of sticks. So this was an area that we had a lean-to greenhouse a long time ago. We took it down, the glass broke. We just had a really hard time with that structure. We didn't have a vent at the top, so butterflies and bees were getting trapped in there all the time. And after the glass broke, we just said, that thing's coming down. It took Steve so much time to make. So we're really trying to be smarter on our projects now and have them be less complicated. And this one fits that to a T. It's perfect. Sumac is pretty pliable and it's really easy to cut. And so all we did for attachment is use screws. He's got boxes and boxes of hardware we've used and other projects that we've saved. So it's projects like this are just a great way to use up old hardware like that. We were able to very easily bend these sumac to the direction we wanted them, and then just tie them together with, again, old wire. We have so many miscellaneous pieces of all kinds of stuff. And then it was a lot easier to just tie that top together and then shove the other pieces through here. So through the opening. And we just did it as high as we thought we needed it to protect this area against rabbits. We always had them in our garden with a much taller fence, and they didn't do too much damage. And so we just wanted something that was a little bit of a deterrent. There's a ton of areas to hang out here with food. I don't think this will be a massive attractant to them, this area. But at the beginning, when things are sprouting, it always is. So right now we have a lot of dandelions still in here. We'll eat them before they get too old and filled with all that white bitterness. And then as the weather warms a bit, we will plant our chard and the beets. One reason we chose those greens here is because they are not a brassica. They are not in the mustard family, and so they don't attract the cabbage white butterflies. If you live where cabbage white butterflies are, you know they're often quite abundant. They were not here last year because of the very low growing degree days, but when they are abundant, they lay their eggs everywhere on brassicas, and then you've got caterpillars everywhere, and so you have to row cover them. And this is just easier for us to grow plants that don't need row covered. And so how else is this going to be useful? Well, one thing about sumac is that it has a very soft pith, and the pith is just the middle part of the stem. You can see it's kind of white right there. And this should also then provide really great nesting habitat for native bees. And that's super cool. I am so excited to work in this area and see who uses it, who finds it. And then because they will break down over time, we will just add more if it works well, because sumac spreads by runners, and you get so many stalks. And when you start trimming them, they come back with, instead of one, you have maybe 3. And we love sumac. It's great pollinator food, it's great bird food, and really good habitat. So this is our dead hedge, using just stuff we had here. That's what we keep going for, everybody, is not buying new materials, because we have an astonishing amount of stuff already here. And so we just stick things around. They end up being beautiful, they end up being useful, and that's pretty cool and really fits with what we're looking for in our footprint on Mother Earth. And then hopefully also working well for the other lives that we share this space with.